Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Veronica. Today's video is, well, it's not a happy one. It's about my husband and his journey with pancreatic cancer that started last March, so 2019. It started, he was having a lot of pain in his abdomen, stomach area, so he took himself to the ER, and he ended up having a pancreatic attack. So they decided to do some tests, CAT scans, ultrasound, and they said that something looks a little suspicious on the head of your pancreas. So they were going to, in April, they were going to do what they call the Whipple surgery, where they went in and they were gonna cut him open and cut off the head of his pancreas and sew him back up. And they said it would probably take 2 or 3 months to heal. Well, when they opened him up, they saw that it had metastasized to his liver. So if you're not sure what that means, they found a spot on his pancreas and his liver. So they said there's nothing we can do. You have to wait till you heal from this surgery, and we will have to either do chemo or radiation. So I ended up doing chemo. So from the middle of April up until about a month ago, we went back and forth with chemo treatments, had 3 or 4 different chemo medicines that we tried. One medicine he would be like 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off, until that started showing signs of not working. Then we go to the next chemo, and he'd do that like maybe every other week, and we would do that till that chemo wasn't working. So then we try another chemo, and you do that once a week. And we'd keep doing that one. And then they found a spot for him in clinical trial. And we tried that, and that ended up not working. But every 3 months, he would have a CAT scan just to check things out, see how things were going. So I guess about 6 months ago, roughly, they did a CAT scan and found that another spot had grew on his liver. So now, not only did he have the one on the head of his pancreas, and the one that had already been on his liver from the pancreas, he had a new one. So they're like, well, we're gonna try another chemo. A couple of the chemos, one was gemcitabine, the other one was Abraxane. I can't remember what some of the other ones were called, but we would go back to just back and forth the chemo and chemo and chemo, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, always changing doctor's appointments. It's like every month My calendar was full with doctor's appointments and chemo. Um, so, I mean, that's pretty much all it boiled down to, is chemo. And, I have to look at the calendar. Hold on. August. No, I'm sorry. I have to hold on. I have to look at the calendar. The week of August 3rd, I can't remember. The week of August 3rd, he was in the hospital for pain. He was having pains. He had fluid building up on his belly. So they went in and put a stent in. He seemed to be doing okay. He was in the hospital August 6th because that was our wedding anniversary. We were married 9 years. He got to go home the 7th. And the 10th, which was my birthday, I ended up driving him to the ER because he was having a lot of pain and he was having fluid built up on his belly again from the cancer. So they had to go and drain fluid off his belly. They drained 5 liters of fluid. And he ended up getting admitted. So I came home that night, the 10th, and because we had my dogs, the dogs here at the house. So the next day, I took the dogs to the kennel, dropped them off there, and went back up to the hospital and stayed up there with them for the week of August 10th. Then they went and ended up draining 3 more liters of fluid because his belly was building up again. So they ended up putting a permanent drain tube in his side for me to drain at home. They showed me how to do it. Okay, great. Looks easy. I got this, right? So the 12th, August 12th, one of the oncology doctors came in and had talked to his main oncology doctor from the place we were going. And my husband, he couldn't really hear well, so he didn't understand what she was saying. So, he asked me what she had said. And she had talked about a few things and asked if he wanted to know how much time he had. And he told me, no, I don't want to know. So I said, well, I want to know. So I stepped out in the hall with the doctor. Her and I talked, and another lady talked. So that there was no more they could do for him. He was not going to get better. And hospice needed to be called in. Next day, the 13th, hospice came to talk to me. But let me back up for a minute. I'm sorry. When I got done talking to the doctor the 12th, I went back to the room and I was watching TV later that evening. And out of the blue, he said, let me guess, they gave me a couple of months. And I couldn't lie to him. You know, he had already knew, even from the beginning when all this happened, he knew he wasn't going to live. He wasn't going to beat this because it was stage 4 when they found it. So I said, yeah, they gave you a few weeks to 3 months. So that brings me back to the 13th when hospice came in and was talking to me. And, I think that he gave up. My husband fought stage 4 pancreatic cancer for 17 months. And that is rare. And it is so rare. Because there are no signs of pancreatic cancer. And when they do find it, it just happened to be a fluke that he had a pancreatic attack, and I think it was because of the cancer. So, if that wouldn't have happened, I don't know how long it would have lasted. So him and I just spent as much time together as we could. He slowly started going downhill. Like I said, I think he gave up. He wasn't the type to give up and quit, but I think sometimes there comes a time in life when you just know that no matter what you do, some things just aren't going to change. It's not going to get better. So, yeah. I said we spent as much time together as we could. I told him I loved him all the time. He told me, so whenever I look at you, I get teary-eyed because he didn't want to leave me. He told our friends he didn't want to leave me. He was scared to leave me. He was worried about me. I was able to get one last kiss and one last I love you from him. He could barely tell me he loved me, but he did it. I wanted to give him a kiss and he could barely kiss me back, but he did. And I was talking with him. It was the weekend of 15th, 16th, 17th, somewhere around there. And I said, if you can hear me, can you blink? And so he blinked a little bit. But hey, I'll take it, right? It was starting to get to the point where it wasn't really responsive. He was kind of getting to the coherent, incoherent stage. So he was able to respond a little bit. And then he got to the point where he just wasn't really responding at all. I mean, once in a blue moon, he might move a leg or move an arm or kind of do like these weird things with his hands. He quit eating. He got to where he couldn't swallow, so I had them stop his medicine that he had been taking during the day anyway. His regular medicine that he had been on anyway. And like I said, to back up a little bit, we'd spent our anniversary in the hospital because he wasn't feeling good. And this was on our wedding anniversary. He was okay here. He was doing okay there. He was fine. But after that, a few days after that, he started going downhill after he had to get readmitted to the hospital. November 28th would have been 12 years we'd been together. Not long enough. I will treasure every moment we spent together. The week of this August 17th, it's like every day he went downhill a little more, a little more, a little more. And the last couple days, he was just kind of like, I don't know. Somebody told me what it was called, but I can't remember it. But it was like open mouth snoring is what I call it. I don't know. There was a name for it, but I can't remember what they said. So, that's pretty much all he'd been doing the last 2 or 3 days before he passed. So August 20th, my cousin came to the hospital to see me and to see him, although he wasn't responsive. They say your hearing is the last thing to go, so I'm sure he heard, voices. My cousin got there. We went down to the cafeteria, got something to eat, was talking, spent some time together. His kids had been there off and on for the last week or two. But my cousin and I were talking, and it was so weird. The fire alarm started going off. There wasn't a fire. It wasn't, like this major emergency. I honestly think it was a sign from him telling me to get back up there and to be by his side. Because earlier in the day, like the last couple days, like I'd said, he had been doing at that day, had been doing kind of what I call a fish out of water breathing. I don't know. But that night, it was about 8:30. It was about 8:45. 8:45, 10 till 9 on August 20th. And my cousin and I got up there. His one son and one daughter was there. I was there by his side. I was holding his hand. He was barely breathing when we got up there. He was like this. I mean, just barely breathing. And I was talking with him again, like I had been doing for the last week or two, telling him how much I love him, and it was okay to let go. It was okay to see your mom and dad, and your uncle, and I had a daughter that passed away 5 years ago. She was 16, and I told him it was okay to go see Sammy. Her name was Samantha. I called her Sammy. It was okay to go see all these family members and just, be free. Stop hurting. He suffered so much. He was always in pain. Always in pain. He would still manage to help me around the house. And I knew he was hurting. I'd say, honey, go sit down, lay down, relax. No, I gotta finish this. He was always about finishing what he started. There was times that he would have to take a hot bath to try and get relaxed enough to try and sleep. Or I'd put like muscle cream on his back to see if that would help. He'd lay on a heating pad. And yeah, these things took a little bit of the edge off, but not enough. He still hurt. Some nights he cried himself to sleep. He hurt so bad. So, but he pushed through every day. He pushed through. He was such a fighter. Like I said, he fought for 17 months, and that's rare. So when I was up there at the hospital in his room, he was laying there, and he raised his shoulders, he relaxed, he breathed, he raised his shoulders again, and then he was gone. At 9 o'clock, he was gone, 9 p.m. And I had this Bible verse app on my phone. And as he passed away, music started playing. I got a hold of some family members. Other family members came up, said their goodbyes. They got him ready to put in the body bag. The nurse came out and gave me his wedding ring. So I'd set my stuff in the room from when I had been staying there. So my cousin and I went in the room to get my things. And the sheet was pulled over. I didn't realize he was in the body bag. I thought it was just a sheet pulled over all the way on top of him. So I pulled out the sheet because I was like, give him a kiss goodbye. But he was in the body bag. And I thought body bags were black, but this one was white. Obviously, I guess, color don't matter. I just thought, you see in the movies they're black. So this one was white, so. But I didn't want to unzip it. I was going to unzip it and give him another kiss goodbye, but I couldn't do it. I got my stuff and I left. I stayed at my cousin's that night. Came home the next day. So yesterday I had his memorial service. It was very beautiful. Here's his obituary. Yes, he was older than me. I'm 45. He was 65. Age is just a number, Him and I we were like this. We just fit together, It's just, he was everything I'd been looking for. And someone just so loving and loyal and caring and compassionate and such a good heart, such a heart of gold. And was always willing to help people in need, no questions asked, nothing expected in return. That was just him. So I had his memorial service yesterday. Like I said, it turned out very beautiful. We had friends and my family there. It was just, I got a bunch of beautiful flowers, or he got a bunch of beautiful flowers. But it's like, he'd been terminal, so we knew that, even from the beginning that he wasn't going to beat this. He even told me probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. He just knew. He said, I know I'm not going to make it. I know I'm not going to beat this. I know I'm going to die. 12 years of my life I have spent loving this man. The last 12 years. He was an amazing man. Truly amazing, selfless. I mean, absolutely amazing. It's so easy to fall in love with him. And now I have to figure out how to do this life without him. And I don't know what to. I don't want to do this life without him. I mean, I've already started doing things that has had to be taken care of. It's like, yeah, I know it's got to be done. I can do it. I have to do it. It's just going to be really weird for a while. Really hard. I was so used to him doing everything. You know, fixing things around the house, and just, I mean, he knew how to sew, he knew how to iron. I mean, he was like little Susie homemaker, you know, he knew how to do all that stuff. I'm not good at doing that stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not good at it, you know. I just have to figure out how to do things. The last couple weeks, I guess you said I was going through the motions, because I knew he wasn't coming home. They told me he's not coming home, he needs 24-hour care. So I went through the motions, you know. You know, I've had my moments where I break down here at home. It's not like all of a sudden he was killed in a car accident. It's this huge shock. You know, well, I knew this was coming. It was just a matter of when. I have had a sign from him. I've seen him in my dream a couple times. And that's very comforting. Very, very comforting. I miss him so much. I said he was my world. I still want my wedding ring. I know he's only been gone 8 days, but I don't plan on taking off my wedding ring. I don't plan on, I'm not looking for anybody. I don't want to be with anybody. A long time ago, we had our names tattooed on each other. He had my name tattooed on his left arm, and I had his tattoo on my boob. The heart. And I've never done that. Any guy I've been with, married. He was my third husband. I didn't do that with my other two husbands, you know. They say that, you know, when you meet somebody and you know when you know. And I knew with him, you know, people say, oh, this is my soulmate, yada, yada, yada. He truly was my soulmate. We just clicked, just, you know. So, yeah. I've got my 4 dogs to keep me company. I've got 2 grandkids I'm raising. Yeah, I gotta figure out this life now without him. It's gonna be hard. I'm gonna have to work 2 jobs, hold on to my house until, I don't know, something. But this is it. This is my life now. I'm a widow. I've lost my husband. He's an exceptional man. he was also diabetic on top of all this too. He had been diagnosed diabetic 4 years ago. And you know, diabetes, your pancreas doesn't produce the sugar or something to do with the sugars, and so I don't know if like the diabetes that correlate with cancer or what, but if you're pre-diabetic, or be careful, keep an eye out, check. There's no test for pancreatic cancer. They don't know why. I've asked the doctors, they don't know why, but if there's somehow some way that you can figure out some kind of test or something, do it. Keep an eye out on your sugars, your pancreas, your diabetes. He took care of himself. I'm not saying he didn't. He didn't drink. He didn't smoke. He took his vitamins. He took his daily medicine he was supposed to take. So it's not like he was in bad health. He wasn't. I know things happen, but just be careful and take care of yourself. Just kind of watch out for anything that might seem odd or different or off. If you can get to a doctor and get some tests, or just figure something out, do it. So, yeah. I hope you all have a good night.